So this is Quizziz. I'm just going to quickly show you how to create a basic quiz using this program. So you just go to Quizziz, Quizizz.com, and it'll give you the option to sign in with a Google account, and you just type in your, if it prompts you, just type in your college email address, and it should sign you in with a Google account without too much of a problem. So the first thing you need to think about is, do you want to go and steal somebody else's quiz and use that, or do you want to create your own? You can also create your own and pinch questions from other people's quizzes as well. There are a few ready-made templates here, but personally, I tend to kind of ignore most of that. So if I want to just see, is there already a decent quiz that I can use in here, then I can do that. So if I just send it off looking for computer skills, you can see there's a whole bunch of stuff already here. And if I want to use one of these, all I need to do is open it and then just start the quiz and off you go. Now you can create collections and then save that quiz to one of those collections. They're just like folders, so that you don't have to go looking for it every single time. The other option is you can just copy and edit that quiz, so you get your own copy of it that appears in your own library just here. And at that point, you can just open the quiz like this and begin editing each of these questions, removing the ones you don't want, changing the ones you don't like the look of, adding some extra ones. So if I go to create, you get the option here to create a quiz or a lesson. Lessons are a little bit like online slideshows, but they're a bit restricted. There's not a lot on the actual slides on a basic non-paid for account. Okay, so you've got two options here. You can either create one from scratch, or you can create one using AI. Now, I did a separate video on AI, so I'm not going to look at that now. I'm just going to go through the basic setting up your own quiz. So you can see here, you get an option here to either search for an existing question from everybody else's quizzes, or just to start creating your own questions here. The ones, again, with these little super lightning bolts on them, they're for paid accounts, so just ignore any of those. So you get options of multiple choice, and you get fill in the blank. And you've also got draw me something, and you got an open-ended question, and you can use a poll as well if you want to. I'm going to go for multiple choice because it's the one that I tend to use the most often. So all you're going to do is type your question in here. Okay, just something nice and simple. And then your options here are, obviously, you've got four. You can have just true or false by just deleting a couple of these as well. Okay, and so you just type your options in here. Make sure you put a tick in the box that you want to be the correct answer. If you want to add an image, you can upload pictures into here as well. So once you've got your options in here, really is just a case of saving the question. You can allocate points to the question. I tend to just leave it at 1 point per question. And this is the length of time they have to answer the question. Again, I tend to ignore this purely because when you run the quiz, you can just turn off the timers. And I just tend to have them turned off anyway, so students work through this. And they've got as long as they want to answer a question. Press the Save Question button, and it drops it in here. And then all you need to think about now is, do you want another question? You can go back and edit it. You can copy this one. You can delete this one. You can just create another question by clicking here, Create Question. And it really is as simple as you just kind of keep going like this if you want to create your own questions. If you want to pull one in from someone else's quiz, you just search for your topic up here from this quizzes library. So if I just go and have a look, you can see I've got various questions down here. and there are lots of different ones. And all I have to do if I want to use one is just click add questions. Or if I want all of them, I can add all of them. So I'm just going to have that one. And if I scroll down a little bit, I'm going to have that one as well. And a little bit more, I'm going to go for that one. All right. So you can see now my original question is here, and I've got these 3 extra ones that it's dumped into the bottom of my quiz as well. If you're happy with your questions, you just publish the thing. Okay, it's going to ask you for a name, and then it'll ask you for some information like what subject is it, just for other people when they're searching for the quizzes and things, what's it all about. Grades American, I just tend to go for 12th or university or something at that level. Do you want it to be visible to everyone or just private to you is a paid feature? So you can't have that. Cover image is just really for you to upload something just to add a little bit of interest at the beginning. Okay, and you just save that. Okay, so that's what the students will see when they start your quiz, whatever image you put on there. Now you can, with each of these questions, if I just edit this one, you can add hyperlinks into these questions just by pasting them in. Up the top here, you can see you can add an image as well. The ability to add audio and video, again, that's a super account thing. But you can add pictures to questions and pictures to answers. And if you want to add an explanation for why that question is answered the way it is, you can do that as well. And you can also add a picture on the explanation for the answer as well. All right. So that's pretty much all there is to it. And then when you're ready to play it, you just press this start a quiz. If you want to control the pace, so you can talk them through the questions as you go, you can have an instructor-paced quiz. Or you can just go for the classic quiz, which means they just work through the questions in their own time. The settings down here are to do with whether you want them to have the redemption questions, whether you want them to see the answers, whether you want the answers shuffled and the questions to be shuffled. If you want that question timer, the 30-second thing we looked at a second ago, you can turn that to the default timer. And then down the bottom here, you can decide whether you want them to use power-ups and reactions and leaderboards. And after each question, there's a silly meme that comes up that they quite like. So if you don't like those, you can switch them off. Or if you really do have too much time on your hands, you can go into the memes here and actually create a batch of your own memes as well. All you've got to do at this point is click continue. And then the students will see this on the interactive whiteboard at the beginning of the, the beginning of the quiz. They go to joinmyquiz.com. They enter this code. You'll start to see the students' names all popping up here along the bottom. Some music plays as the quiz goes. If you don't like that, you can just switch that off. There's a button will appear up here. And once everyone's in the quiz, you just press start and you just wait for them to complete their answers. And then the leaderboard will show up on your screen and you'll see where they are in terms of the rankings. That's it. If at any time you've changed your mind, you can just end the quiz. If someone seems to have dropped out and isn't completing and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for it to finish, you can just end the quiz at any time. And that pretty much is Quizziz.